And I'm Lori Brownsberger, and this is my mother. And I live around DeWitt also, actually in my great-grandparents' house. So it's kind of a family heirloom, too.
All right. And I was blessed with the opportunity to meet some other Squireses that live in Seattle, and we got to chatting, and I said, I know, they asked if I knew about, they called him, wasn't Lewis, they had another name, but anyway, and I said, no, his name was Lewis, and I got all that straight. Anyway, we kept chatting, and I said, oh, I actually grew up in your great-grandfather's home, because my mom and dad lived in that house, so I said, I know all about that house. I grew up there. So, and they brought out pictures, and I said, I can identify them. Those are my parents, and those are my grandparents. And I really did recognize a lot of people. Okay, so now we come down to the largest part, and the largest group probably, and that's Francis Wells. So we'll start with the oldest person in that, from that line that's here today.
Yeah, I think she said the oldest person here today and probably meant it. I might be outvoted a little bit. Anyway, while we're talking about Francis Fairbanks, I thought it's kind of interesting. I happened to be born in his house. And Harry, my brother Harry, is also born there. So we go back to that. The first reunion I ever attended was in the backyard of Francis Fairbanks' house, and I remember getting called down for running under the food tables. So I've been coming to reunions ever since. Did I introduce my wife, Lily, which I don't have any idea where... Oh, hi, Lily. And I have 3 children here, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Starting with the oldest.
Yeah. Once again, that matriarch, that's it. Okay, so I'm Jeannie Audsley Liebhart, and my husband Mark is here somewhere. There he is. We're always on the opposite ends of our spouses. Okay, and I have 6 children, and 4 of them are here. So we'll just let, where's Julie? There she is.
On the other side.
Oh, the other side. This is why they said I was going to need. Okay, my daughter Julie Watson and her daughter Grace. Okay, then we have Steve, my son, his wife Melissa, and Lily and John, grandkids. Okay, then we have Melissa, my daughter, and her husband Bill back here, and they have 3 children, Sarah, who's on the floor, Hannah, and Carson. Yeah, he didn't know what name to write on there, so I told him just write whatever name's on his name badge. Okay, then we have Joshua, and where's, Angie's right there. There she is at the door, our newest daughter-in-law, and Sarah, Reese, who's waving, and little Quentin over here. Hello, he's right there. Okay, then we have a daughter, Andrea, who lives in Salt Lake City, and a son, Michael, who's in Maui right now. Sure. Okay, you're next.
Can everyone hear me without this?
Yes.
Yes. I'll run you out if I use it.
All right.
Okay, I'm Sharon Audsley Peterson. We currently live in Virginia. My husband's in the military, so as soon as I married, I have lived, around the world, etc. So, we have 3 children. Our daughter Jennifer is here today, and her friends with her, Gabe Riley. And our son Craig is our middle child, and his friend Libby. Aunt Libby, I'm sorry, last name?
Garcia.
I just met her just yesterday, so I'm sorry. And our youngest son Christopher is in college in Radford. He couldn't be with us today.
Okay, where's Howard? I don't even see him. Oh, there he is. Howard, the son, and his wife Diane. And they have Nathan, I don't know where, Nathan's standing over here. Good job. They have Katie and Justin, who aren't here. Okay, so then it will be Uncle Harry. He's next. There's only a year between Harry and Eugene, so I'll flip over here, get to Harry. Okay, it's your turn. Oh, you've got food in your mouth.
What do you want me to do?
Tell them your name.
Audsley, Dewitt, Missouri.
And your darling bride, Sue, and your family.
My wife, Dee here.
Okay, it goes to Lori.
Yep.
Oh, of course, you're
My
Lori.
son, Leonard.
Lori.
Marty.
Okay. And there you go. Give it to Lori. You can do it.
I'm Marjorie Audsley. I live in Columbia, Missouri. And I have 3 children. My eldest daughter, Jennifer, is here. Jeremy also lives in Columbia, and I have a daughter in the Air Force in South Carolina. I'm going to hand this to Jennifer. She has
I have my daughter Jordan next to me and my son Chris. And as we said, we're in Columbia.
I'm Leonard Audsley, Harry and Sue's son, and I have my wife Dorothy here with us. My youngest child, our youngest child, Andrew, his friend Peyton. Squeaky microphone. I'm under the speaker. That's yeah. I'll just stand in. I'll stand back here. That thing's squeaking. And my granddaughter Allison, and our other 2 kids. Barry is in Olathe. He lives in Olathe. He's couldn't make it today, and Tim's working. So, and that takes care of our kids, and we have other grandkids. Anthony and Abigail. Yeah, she's running me through everybody, and Barry's wife, Stacy. Yes, I think we've got everybody pretty much covered. So, and Connie's not here.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Hello, I am Lois Audsley Struck, and I am in the same family, of course, my brothers, Eugene and Harry and Glenn Lee, Glenn Lee is not here today. I married Merrill Struck, and we lived, pretty reasonably close to Carrollton as well, so I can always see my brothers pretty often. Merrill passed away 3 years ago, but he's always with me in my heart. And we have 3 children, and I'll let Gail introduce herself, but I'll mention her right now. This is Gail, and then I have Marilyn, and she lives in Sedalia, and she will be here this afternoon, but she is a pianist in their church in Sedalia, and she couldn't be here in time for lunch. And then the 3rd child is Gary, and he and his wife and their 2 daughters live in Olathe, and I've been expecting him in any moment because he intended to be here for lunch, but if you see a couple come in with 2 little girls, that's my son Gary. I guess that kind of completes my story.
I'm Gail Gentry, mother's oldest child. It's my husband Doug. We have 3 children. Kelly and Kathy are twins. They teach school in Richmond, Missouri. And they're married. Kelly's married and has a boy and a girl, and Kathy has a boy and a girl. She just recently got divorced. And our son Greg, and he is in Kansas City. That's my family.
Okay, so Uncle Glenn isn't here, but his children are, so we're going to go back here to them. So Glenn would be next, and his oldest is Sarah. Here you go. Oh, you're on. Come over here, Sarah. Come over here. You're under the speaker. Okay, there you go.
Well, I'm Sarah Audsley Campbell, and I'm Glenn Audsley's daughter. Can you hear me without this? Yeah. No? All right. I'm Sarah Audsley Campbell. I'm Glenn Audsley's daughter. And this is my husband, Jim Campbell, over here. And we both work for the Corps of Engineers in Kansas City. I have 2 brothers, Brian Audsley, he was here earlier, he had to leave. And my brother Walt, he's not here today. And my sister Jenna Ganell, she's here with her husband Jeff. That's it. Okay.
All right, that's great. And now Joe Frank. So from there, you're next. Joe Frank's next in the line. Follow the boat here.
Well, I'm sorry about this. I used to be in the National Weather Service and I did a lot of so-called public speaking and that sort of thing, and Alan Pearson, the old boss, said, it takes you 15 minutes to clear your throat. But anyway, I'll try not to do too much of that. My wife, wonderful wife, had for 65 years, passed away last Halloween Day, and she is buried in DeWitt, where we've had our, I guess it's working. Had our headstone put in 4 or 5 years ago, and she was from West Texas, and I put some stuff on the back of the stone in case you go down there to tell them who she was. We had 2, I guess I might as well say in front of them, very fine children. Larry is the eldest, and Nancy Davidson now is the youngest, and they, oh my. I don't think I want to go down through that. I think you can do your own kids. But anyway, I didn't know about daddies until I was 10 probably. Mine left when I was a year old. And he came back, this is necessary. He came back to Kansas City and picked up my mother's sister-in-law, and they went to Seattle, and that was the end of him. Anyway, I had the relatives, my grandparents, Frank Audsley and Ruth, Martha, who used to be esquires, and had slaves and all that stuff. They were just super. Uncle Walter, Eugene, and Lois, Harry, and Glenn, his parents, just super. Aunt Grace. I wrote my memoirs about 15 years ago or something like that, and I forgot to put Aunt Grace in there. She was super. Just a super lady. Well, who's next? Now, I can talk for a long time.
Okay, so there's no one here from the Edith Audsley family, so we're going to move to Edith Ackroyd Audsley, and she married a Stevenson. So we will pass this to Shirley.
Okay, I'm Shirley Stevenson, and Shirley Stevenson Scott, and my grandmother was Edith Ackroyd Audsley Stevenson, and that's where I come in with the Audsleys. And I am married to Lewis Scott, and we are farmers, have been all of our married life. We did live in the bottom until the '93 flood. And that was the first time that the water ever got in our house. We'd had lots of floods around with the crops, but the first time the water had ever been in our house. And we did not go back to the house. Then we bought a house just west of Carrollton, about 5 miles, and that's where we still reside. And we had 3 children. Sheila, Flocky right here, and Steve, who passed away several years ago, and then Mike, he's right here too, and he's in Peoria, Illinois, and it's just been a wonderful family to be with all these years.
So we're going to come back to Susan.
I am Susan Brune Adams. My mother was Joanne Stevenson. She's a cousin to Shirley. And I live in Richmond. My sister Betty lives in Richmond, and my brother Larry lives in Richmond. We all live basically along Institute Street. And Mother used to say that we did it just right because either on the way to the grocery store or on the way home, she could catch every one of us. I have 2 children, 2 girls. One of them is married and has 3 children, and they live north of Hardin, Missouri.
Okay, I'm Larry Brune Audsley, or Larry Brune. My grandfather was Frank Stevenson. I do live in Richmond. I am currently I'm not working due to a visual difficulty. So I spend a lot of my time volunteering with the American Legion and VFW.